Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
I want you to think about this morning. Only in America, in 2020, can you get arrested for opening your business, but not for looting or burning one? Oh, Lord help us. Here comes Kate Smith, and God Bless America, followed by a Patriot to start the week off right with our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning, good morning. And a good morning to you and yours. Zeb at the Ranch, I'm Zeb Bell, along with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations, serving you with a very safe, clean environment, and of course, you know, the best in tires. Along with our friends at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Right now, let's go to the phone line and have our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Good morning. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, my friend. And right now, let's go to the weather forecast brought to you by Roger and the crew at K&R Rental, 256 South, 600 west of Heyburn. It goes without saying that they have the best of tools and equipment, everything you need. And when I put the word out there, everything, it's true for both long and short-term rental. Believe me, for any project, any construction project, whatever, get a hold of K&R Rental. The number to call if you have questions, 678-3122. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Due to all the area and regional wildfires, we've got some really bad air quality due to the smoke. Here's a look at your weather forecast for today. Widespread haze, widespread smoke, again, because of all of the wildfires burning in the region. But we are going to expect partly sunny skies for today. High of about 92. Winds could gust as high as 23 miles an hour throughout the day. For tonight, we do have a 20% chance of showers and or thunderstorms after midnight. Still widespread haze and smoke. Expecting a low of 61. That's going to continue for tomorrow. High of 88. Again, for tomorrow night, slight chance of rain showers and thunderstorms. Still widespread haze and smoke with a low of about 58. And for Wednesday, pretty much the same. We are expecting a high of 87. That's what's your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina. And right now at my studio, I've got 67 degrees outside. And like I said, whether it's just equipment for your lawn or your garden or you're building something, you'd better get a hold of the people that really know the best in equipment, and that's K&R Rental at 256 South, 600 west of Heyburn. Can't miss them. They're right there on the Burley-Paul Highway, 678-3122. Caller, I'll be there in just about a minute, so stand by. I want to also remind everybody about Daryl's Cleaners. I finally made it in there last week and dropped off a whole bag of Rumply Crumplies. I mean to tell you, when your clothes get a little bit on the dirty side and they're all rumply and crumply and they need a good cleaning and pressing, nobody does it better than Daryl's Cleaners, 1223 Albion Avenue in Burley. And Kevin and Cindy, they really, really care. And they want you to look good, feel good. Daryl's Cleaners, 1223 Albion Avenue in Burley. And one other quick note, because I know they're already there this morning, and that includes our dear friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric, where they provide warm winters and cool summers. How do they do it? Because they have all your heating and cooling and electrical needs, and boy, with the 90s, 95, 94, 96, 97 degrees, you better make sure your air conditioning unit is working efficiently with the new air filters. They've got them right there for your air conditioning at Ramsey Heating and Electric, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, 678-0459. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. You know, a funny story. Last time we talked, they were blaming President Trump for hijacking all these mailboxes so he could win the election, right?
Yeah.
And now, yesterday, they were telling me about Obama they've taken down, I don't know how many thousand mailboxes when he was president.
Okay.
What do you do with all that egg on your face?
Well, I know, but they don't care. All they're doing, and they are creating a smokescreen. The Democrats are out to do anything and everything they can to hurt Donald Trump before the election. They're going to blame him if somebody drops a cheeseburger on their lap. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. And I was really listening over the weekend to some of the comments made by Joe Biden about our tax increases, and they're going to go up a bunch if that man that has no qualifications whatsoever to be president becomes president. And then he told us something else over the weekend that really ought to scare every business owner in America today. He said that in order to stop the coronavirus, we need to lock down America again. And this is where this old cowboy puts his boot down and says, no, I will never on this program support another lockdown.
Yeah, and you know, this one guy, I forget who it was interviewing President Trump, and they said, you know, he said, I wish you could be more kinder, you know, on your demeanor and stuff like that. And Trump just said, ain't going to happen because I'm going to tell it the way it is, and if they don't like it, well, they can go somewhere else.
Where is it in the Constitution or anywhere else that we need to have a president that is full of marshmallows and cream and peanut butter and jelly and everything's all fluffy and nice? I'm sick of this. I want a man that's going to get the job done. I don't care if he's got the personality of Dracula. I want him to get the job done.
The interesting thing this morning on the news, he's talking about his second term. What a farce.
Who's talking about his second term?
Biden.
Well, he's not. I hope and pray that he does. Well, it wouldn't be his second term as president. He's never been president. He was only the runner-up chosen by Obama as VP.
He's going to win.
Oh, I'm going to fight this. I'm going to say everything I can on this radio program to absolutely run Biden's campaign with Harris down into the mud. I got to run, Keith. I've got another call. You've got it started. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate it.
Well, sorry about your blood pressure.
No, don't worry about it. Thank you much. Appreciate you. Hey, caller, I'll be right there. Don't go away. I want to remind everybody about Anthony at Save on Shells. Did you call him? You knew that you needed a camper shell for your pickup. You know that you've got to protect all your, whether it's your tools or whether it's your saddles, whatever it might be. They've got all the camper shells for your pickups at Save on Shells, 1827 Overland and Burley. Number to call Anthony. Make sure he's right there on the lot to help you. 312-1525. That number again, 312-1525. And they've got the quality ARE shells with a lifetime warranty. How do I know their quality? Because I've got one. They are good. Call Anthony today at Save on Shells, 312-1525. Also want to give a great big shout out and a thank you to our friend at Dino's Septic Service. Hello, my friends over there with the best of septic tank pumping and liquid waste removal, water and sewer lines installed, sewer and sink drain lines cleaned. And they got all the latest of equipment for you, too. Fast, fair, friendly service. And the numbers to call, 436-6526 or 678-1638. With a big truck that pulls in the yard and says, smells cargo on the way, Dino's Septic Service. Caller, thank you for your patience. Good morning.
Good morning, Deb. You know, it's incredible as to what's happened in this country in our lifetime. But immediately, there's nothing in the paper today, of course, at least I missed about the special session and going on in Boise today. Yeah.
Well, wait a minute, Adrian. Yesterday in the paper there was quite an extensive, and Saturday also, they had an extensive story about why they're having a special session, what they're going to be talking about. It was a rather lengthy story, so yeah, it was in there.
Yeah, well, that's beside the point. The point is the governor wants to have executive authority extended at his discretion. The Idaho Constitution says that he has 30 days and then an extension of 30 days. Well, and now we've been having these, they call them rolling extensions, and he wants to legitimatize his authority and continue the partial lockdown of the state. I mean, I went out for dinner Friday night, and, the place is only half full because half the booths are not available. It's just incredible what's still going on. And if you call the governor's office, well, everything's wide open. Well, ask the business owners. They have to go by all the edicts and so forth. And when we have this Liberty rally in Twin Falls, a couple of young ladies had done their homework. A number of edicts that have come down through the bureaucracy is incredible. Anyway, I would encourage people to call the governor's office, and it's 334-2100, and get hold of your local representatives over your area. Of course, that'd be Fred Wood and Bedke, Kelly Anthon, and others over there. So, and we've got to have them vote no on these draconian edicts that he wants to legitimatize. Basically, the legislature's not there with their agenda. It's the governor's agenda, and he wants the legislature to rubber stamp those.
All right, I've let you go on now for about close to 4 minutes, and we will see what we will see. I'm supposed to have an update tomorrow, as a matter of fact, as to what's going on up there with the special session. Adrian, I appreciate your call. God bless. Have a good day, and thank you for your call.
One other thing.
No, quickly, Adrian, quickly.
Mail-in voting, the election will be stolen.
I couldn't agree more, and we're going to talk about that. I don't want to see any mail-in ballots at all. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. He's right on the mail-in ballots. I want people to go to the polls. I want to return to yesteryear, where we had absolute respect for the day and the happening of that day in the election process. And we've got away from that. Now it's kind of like ordering out of a Sears and Roebuck catalog. It's terrible. Don't forget Denny's Restaurant at 611 North Overland in Burley, and another location at 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. The best of delicious food. All the menu choices and nice people serving you at America's Diner. And that's a name that they really relish and cherish because they are America's Diner, and they want to treat you the very best they can. Yes, sir. Michelle, Thomas, the rest of the crew, always there to serve you at Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley. Caller, I'll be right there. Stand by. Please don't go away. I want to remind everybody about the urgent cares in the area and what they're doing for the school systems. That's right. If you have an athlete in your house that has not yet had their sports physical, and I said caller, I'll be right there, be sure and stop into the urgent cares. 3 of them serving you at Riverview Urgent Care on Overland and Burley, Twin Falls Urgent Care on Addison Avenue East in Twin, and Urgent Care of Jerome at 133 West Avenue A in Jerome. $10 sports physical special. They used to be $20. They've lowered it, and they will donate all the money back to your school's athletic program. No appointments necessary at the urgent cares. These are people that really care. I urge you to get into the urgent cares today. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Zeb. With all these improvised weapons that are being used against our police, I'm just wondering how many of these Antifa people that are out there have been trained at these terrorist training camps that we've got in this country that nothing is being done about.
I don't know.
And when the camps become active, and I believe they will be, we're really going to see some destruction in this country.
No, I totally agree. I would. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's a fact that there are terrorist training camps that are all over the United States. They are in New York State, upstate New York. They're in Texas. They are even right here close to us. I am fed up with the naivete of the American public and our politicians because, yes, we are allowing training to hurt us, kill us, and take us over right within the confines of our United States of America.
Now, my other question is, how much support are these training camps getting from the Democratic Party?
I don't know. You don't know. I don't know if anybody can come up with that. We know that there are a lot of anti-American people that would fund anything to see the downfall of our great land. Names included George Soros and many others. But to say what are they or how much are they funding or whatever, you don't know. I don't know. I don't even know if there's a way we can find that out.
Well, I think we're going to find that out in the near future if these people out there doing the damage aren't crushed. Now, I do mean crushed, and that's the only way we're going to save this country. It might take blood in the street to do it, but if you want the country to be saved, it's got to be done.
Well, I mean, look at the ludicrous, stupid Republicans. I'm really down on certain members of the Republican Party. There's about 24 Republicans. Some of them are former senators, etc., like Jeff Flake from Arizona and John Warner from Virginia, that are joining the Democrats in trying to promote Joe Biden for presidency. These Republicans are dumber than a fence post, and I have nothing good to say about them.
Well, do you really think they're going to be safe once this bunch takes the country over? They'll be the first ones to be executed.
They are not very smart people, and the proof is in the pudding as to what's going on in this country. I mean, we are being taken for a short ride, actually a long ride off a short pier into the ocean and into the abyss if we elect Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. This is the end.
Good program going, Zeb. We need you.
All right, buddy. Thank you very much. You know, Biden said he's going to increase our taxes and he's going to lock down America again. And the left is telling us, they're telling us every day what they're going to do to us and what they want done to the country. And yet they have voter support. Oh, my goodness. Listen to this. My heart goes out to these people. Seriously. 80% of the restaurants in New York City are going broke. 80% in the largest city in the United States. And if you've ever been in New York, and I've been there at least 12 times, wonderful restaurants, wonderful shops and stores, etc., and they're going broke because of a stupid, liberal, Democratic mayor, Bill de Blasio. And the police are quitting in droves. You can't blame them. no job security, no respect. And I just don't know where we're headed if we're gullible and, quite frankly, use it like it is, dumb enough to elect Biden and Harris. Boy, are we going to get what we deserve. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Caller, hang on just a minute. I got to get this one word in here, and I want everybody to be aware that September 12th is a big, big day for everybody, and that's going to be, let me make sure on the date on that, September the 12th is a Saturday, and that's the day for the Zollinger Quarter Horse Ranch 32nd Annual Production Sale, and I'm talking quality horses. I'm talking horses, colts and fillies that have got minds and talent and personality, and they know how to handle themselves. The preview is going to be at 10 o'clock in the morning, sale at 11 on September 12th. Don't miss this. I'm telling you, it's up at the ranch in Oakley at 1994 South, 100 east of Oakley. Jerry Zollinger and the great Zollinger Quarter Horse Production Sale, 32nd Annual on September 12th. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Morning, Zeb. I was going to call and tell you that I was thankful for our wonderful country. I was able to take my wife on our anniversary up on the mountain backside of Cottonwood when Trail rode our horses back up in there quite a ways. And what a beautiful country we have, even though it's starting to get hot and dry out. Then you're talking about the Antifa and Biden and Harris ticket and all that they stand for and what they want to take away from us. It's a shame. It's a crying shame that not everybody can see the country that we get to see it. And I feel for the restaurant owners and the mom and pop shops that bake or buy or sell their own goods. They're getting run out of business. And I feel that it is on purpose as a socialistic agenda, because in a socialistic country, there is no mom and pop shops. It's all owned by one person, one entity. And you're right, it's pretty scary. And I wish people would look and see what they're voting for and what they're wanting before they put it into practice. Because I can guarantee you that the ones pushing it are not going to reap any benefits from it at all. They'll be just like everybody else.
I got to tell you something, Riley, and pay attention to what I'm saying, and tell anybody you see. I got a call over the weekend by a person that was really chastised, and Sean, I've got a lot of feedback on this line all of a sudden. I got a call from a person that was really chewing me out for not supporting mail-in balloting. I will never support a mail-in ballot. I want to see the American public go back to the way things were, go to the polls, respect the voting privilege with voter ID. Show who you are when you sign your name. Show them your ID and be proud of your vote. I'm sick and tired of making it as easy as stopping in and getting a cheeseburger someplace. This is ridiculous, and I'll never change.
I agree with you. Up until this year, when I'll be gone during the election. I'll be on the road, so I'm going to try and see if I can do early voting. But up until this year, that's something that I stand with you 100% on, my friend, because they don't know who the heck it is. They don't know if it was me who mailed in my ballot or if it was my neighbor.
Yeah. All right, my friend. Always appreciate your call. Thank you very, very much. Right now, I'm going to give away a dozen cookies, a dozen delicious cookies to Sophie's Chatterbox at 530 East Street in Rupert. Oh, my goodness sakes, what a bakery. Oh, my goodness, what a restaurant. Right there on the square in Rupert, Sophie's Chatterbox. If you win the cookies, call them and let them know when you're going to be there to pick them up. And here, this is a piece of cake, slam dunk question. I know we're going to have the phone lines light up at 436-2244. The comedy team of Rowan and Martin starred in a comedy series on television in the 60s. What was the name of that famous comedy show? The comedy team of Rowan and Martin hosted and starred in a comedy series in the 60s. What was the name of that show? Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587, and you might be the lucky winner of the cookies from Sophie's Chatterbox. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Laughing.
And who's this?
Paul Peterson.
Well, for heaven's sakes, the greatest cartoonist that the world has ever known. How are you?
The greatest?
Well, yeah, I think so.
He's an artist, but I don't know about the greatest.
Well, Paul, God bless you and your wonderful wife, and enjoy the cookies at Sophie's.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do, Zeb. You have the guys over at the radio station, pick them up and have them enjoy them. That's what I'm going to do.
Well, that's awful nice of you. I'll tell Sean. I'm sure he heard that, and he's probably drooling on his microphone right now, waiting for that. But, Paul, God bless you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, sir. Sean, get on the microphone for a minute. Did you hear that nice gesture for you and Gina? And
Sure did. And I'll let Gina know.
all right. Well, you take care of it. And you, one thing, if you get a sugar cookie list and you have plain sugar cookies, at least have the decency to save one for me. Would you do that?
We can do that.
All right, buddy. Thank you so much. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know, I was watching a news program on Friday afternoon, early in the afternoon. I came in from working outside. I was hot and sweaty, and I just wanted to catch up on a couple of the news items. Hold on, caller. I'll be right there. And they were talking about Biden and Harris and Alexandria Sandy Cortez, what kind of an energy program they want, and they're going to try to conspire to provide or force upon the American public. And one of the things that they showed on this little film clip from the Democrats was what they call they're going to try to force us, the American public, into what they call micro-mobility. And it piqued my interest, so I stayed there and watched the rest of that little clip. You know what micro-mobility is? And I'm not making this up. They showed it right on the clip. All of us being forced to buy an electric scooter. Can you imagine a fat cowboy on crutches with a scooter? Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning again. You know, yesterday it showed Biden and his running mate doing an interview or whatever you call it, because I don't think anybody knew about it. But one of the things he brought up is, well, he was going to tax the dickens out of anybody that made over $400,000. Now, I used to really like Romney, but he only said one thing that resonated with me. He said, I never had a poor man give me a job. And these people that make $400,000 and they put it back in their business, my goodness, that's what makes America great.
I don't care how much money you make. I couldn't care less how much money you made in the car business. I couldn't care less about how much the commissions of your salespeople were. It's none of my business. I couldn't care less. The only thing I went to you for is buy a car. That's all I want to know, and I bought it, I think, at a fair price. And what you made off of it, have fun. Go to Tahiti or wherever you want to go. I am sick and tired of the left trying to micromanage what we make, how much we make, and try to take it away from people.
Yeah, it's not fair. And he's still hiding. Even though he's come out, he's still hiding because he's got nobody around him asking him questions.
Yeah.
It's just him and his partner.
Well, I just certainly hope after November 3rd that Joe Biden is a permanent resident in his basement forever. Thank you very much, Keith. God bless you. I got to run. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Caller, please stand by. I want to remind everybody, too, about Barry Equipment and Rental Sales, Service, and Parts. These are really good people at 159 West Highway 30 in Burley, 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin. Hello, Eli. And the Nampa location. They've got all your heavy equipment, like all the Bobcats, all the sizes, all the trenchers, all the scissor lifts, get way up there. And, of course, the Doosan wheel loaders and excavators. They've got fantastic lease rates and great financing rates to buy. You better check it out today at Barry Equipment and Rental. Believe me, for all the lifting, digging, pushing, and carrying, they've got the equipment for you at Barry Equipment and Rental. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, sir.
I'm glad you called. How are you?
Good.
Good.
Good. Did you see that photo I sent you of the cowboy with his mask?
Yes, and even though it was meant to be funny, it's not really, because that's about where we are.
Exactly. Like, remember the OSHA Safe Cowboy?
Yeah.
Those cartoons?
Yes, I do. I want to ask you a question. I know you probably called with something else you wanted to bring up, but I want to ask you a question. Did you hear, and I'm not making this up in any way, shape, or form, because it's a true story, that a broadcaster, I think he was back in Pennsylvania, I've got the news clipping here someplace on my desk, and I'm trying to look it up, but a newscaster mentioned, and I'm going to use the words, that Kamala Harris would be the first colored vice president for the Democrats as far as a female is concerned. That man was fired immediately. Oh, it was a Cleveland radio station. That's what it was, I believe. He was fired immediately. You know why? Because he used the word colored. And the Democrats were up in arms and outrage. But I'm going to ask you this question. Why is it okay to say the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People and nobody gets fired? But if you say that about Kamala Harris, you're going to get canned.
Double standard.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. If they didn't have double standards, a lot of these politicians wouldn't have the standards. I mean, what they're doing and what they're saying is just, it's utterly ridiculous. Joe Biden is just like a carp out of water. He'll flip and flop any way he needs to. And Kamala Harris is the same way.
Yeah.
She will stand or say what she needs to say, no matter who she's speaking to, and to gain their favor.
Well,
she is not.
I want to just say this to you, that about 2.5, 3 weeks ago, we were talking about the three classifications of man. Do you remember our conversation on that?
I do.
Okay. And they are Caucasoid, Mongoloid, and Negroid, and that's a fact. That is not anything as a slur, that is a fact. Those are the three classifications, of mankind. I had a phone call from somebody that said, "How dare you? Do you realize how much trouble you could get in for saying the word Negroid?" And I said, "Wait a minute. One of the biggest funding organizations in the entire world for black people is underneath the auspices and the headline for the United Negro College Fund. Why in the world would they come after me for using the word Negroid?"
Exactly. They like I say, double standards. That's what they've got. And you know where they're seeing income inequality, all of this stuff. Well, I'm going to use President Obama's words against him. When he was a president, he was talking about all these top 1% and all the money they had. When is enough enough?
Yeah.
Okay, President Obama, you're worth over $100 million. When is enough enough?
You want to hear something else this morning, Doug, it should frighten every American. Black Lives Matter is getting so powerful and so much of a power monger that they are telling corporations right now what ads they can run in what magazines and or put up on billboards. I'm not making this up. Star Parker was on the news this morning talking about this, that Black Lives Matter, if they don't like something or they think it may be against their cause, they're going to demand that those businesses take down those billboards or cancel those ads. And here's something else that ought to make you just really sweat. Iowa State University professor has warned students, and think about this, Doug, has warned his students that if you're anti-Black Lives Matter or if you are pro-life, those are grounds for dismissal from Iowa State University.
Then we need to cut off all public funding to that university. Any university that does not offer free thinking, open exchange of ideas, the Constitution taught as written, and how this country was founded, the facts on how we got to where we are, how we changed from a slave country to a free country, and who did what to do that, should not receive any taxpayer money.
It goes deeper. It goes deeper than just the funding. We have lost the right of communication. Our First Amendment is gone. I bet you $1 to a donut with a hole in it that I'm going to hear about this conversation again from some of those out in our audience that live and reside right here in Magic Valley. And I don't care anymore. I mean, when that group, that organization that is a Marxist, socialist / communist group, Black Lives Matter, has that much power that they can come down on corporations and cancel their advertising and say, no, you can't have that ad, we find it offensive, we are in trouble.
Yes, we are. And that's when people need to stand up and say, baloney. I will run what ads I want to run. You don't like it, that is your problem. Then Black Lives Matter will start attacking them and will start targeting their businesses. This is what a fascist movement does.
But, you know, they're almost like an amoebic cell that eats itself and trying to destroy itself because it's so ridiculous. Here they appeal on every day on many channels for funding for the NAACP or funding for the United Negro College Fund. But yet if a white person says anything on the air like this poor news reporter that said Kamala Harris is the first colored woman vice presidential choice, he gets fired. He gets fired for saying that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous where we're going. And just remember, in the book of Revelations, it says what is right is wrong and what's wrong will be right.
I got another call, and you are so right, and I appreciate it. Give us your senior spiel for 10 seconds. I got to go.
Okay, and real quick before that, just remember, you send your kids to Caesar to be educated. Don't be surprised when they come back Romans.
Amen. Amen.
Everybody, let's take care of our senior centers. Let's support them. Go eat there and leave with a full tummy and a full heart.
God bless you, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. I'll take your call before the weather. Go ahead.
Well, quickly, when Barack Obama was running for president, he was worth maybe $2 million. Right now, he's over $400 million, what he's worth, and he didn't do anything to earn the money. And this is the kind of thing that happens in our to our elected officials, and it isn't just Obama. It's every House member, every Senate member, and these people, you know, whatever's going on back there is absolutely criminal. And it doesn't seem to matter whether or not they're Republicans or Democrats. Black Lives Matter in the last month, you know how much money they have infused into their coffers?
Millions and millions.
Well, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just answering your question. You asked me a question.
It's about the same amount that Brad Little received from the federal government, $1.2 billion. This is Black Lives Matter. that are trying to tear our country to shreds.
Yep.
They have 1.2 billion. They did, and how much more have they received since that report? And so you see what I'm saying? The enemy is funded fully. And the only thing we can do is, the good people of America who are going to save this country are this morning, or it's Monday morning, we get up and we go to work and we hopefully pray and we're patriots and we pledge allegiance if we're, lucky.
Let me ask you a question, Randy.
Have to go out here and we're worried sick about what's going on. But we still have to save the country, too.
Yeah. Let me ask you a quick question. Give me a short answer because I've got the weather forecast. Biden and Harris and the rest of the Democrats at their convention, did you watch any of that convention?
No. The only thing I heard was excerpts from,
right.
what you said or other programs.
All right. Well, let me just share this with you. The opioid problem in this country and the abuse of opioids in this United States has skyrocketed. The numbers are astronomical and very, very worrisome. Violence is growing and being basically blind eye and a deaf ear turned to it by the Democrats. Nothing was said during the Democratic convention, and I dare say this is the straw that's going to break their back. They have absolutely done nothing about the status of America, the status of our cities, the status of our streets, the status of our safety, the status of our police, the status of the drug problem. And I hope the Democrats literally have to roast in their own sweat for what they have done or not done. That's my feeling.
Well, let me tell you something. I don't know if you heard what Kamala Harris said on the Stephen Colbert program.
I won't listen.
I would never watch.
Yeah.
I wouldn't turn that one-eared boy on ever. But I'll tell you what, when she was asked about what she said about Biden, she really strikes me as being just a little bit either, careless, immoral, amoral. But she laughed and says, well, it was just a debate.
Yeah, I heard that.
She thought it was funny.
Yeah.
Well, you know what else she thinks is funny? Abortion.
Yeah. Don't even get me started on her. I would like to do a program tomorrow. Hey, Randy, God bless you, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Weather forecast quickly. I got to leave this one little note with you real fast. Nancy Pelosi, the lowest class Speaker of the House ever in the United States history, said that we, you and me, and all Trump supporters have doggy-doo on our shoes if we support Trump. You can take that comment any way you want to. To me, extremely offensive. Nancy Pelosi, no class whatsoever. Weather forecast brought to you by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. And if you're noticing any kind of a reducing of hearing ability, I urge you to call them today and make an appointment. The number 312-0957. That number again, 312-0957. They're already moved into a larger space on the Minidoka Memorial Campus. You can't miss them. Right behind the Minidoka Memorial Hospital, across from the emergency room, serving you. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Due to all the area and regional wildfires, we've got some really bad air quality due to the smoke. Here's a look at your weather forecast for today. Widespread haze, widespread smoke, again, because of all of the wildfires burning in the region. But we are going to expect partly sunny skies for today. High of about 92. Winds could gust as high as 23 miles an hour throughout the day. For tonight, we do have a 20% chance of showers and or thunderstorms after midnight. Still widespread haze and smoke. Expecting a low of 61. That's going to continue for tomorrow, high of 88. Again, for tomorrow night, slight chance of rain showers and thunderstorms. Still widespread haze and smoke with a low of about 58. And for Wednesday, pretty much the same. We are expecting a high of 87. That's Look at Your Weather for 7th Ranch.
You can trust your hearing health to, of course, the great people at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. They've got the best of technology, and they are ready to serve you. All you have to do is call, make an appointment, 312-0957. 312-0957, Mount Harrison Audiology. Calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I want to go back to that story about the Iowa State University professor saying that, and warning students in that professor's class that if you're anti-Black Lives Matter or pro-life, those, and if we find out about it, those are grounds for dismissal from college? Only certain views are accepted? And you have to follow in lockstep like little robots, or we don't care how much you spent on tuition. We don't care how much Dad went in debt to get you there. We're going to throw you out of school because you don't like Black Lives Matter. Shame on you. We're going to get rid of you. Oh, you're pro-life? Well, out you go. What kind of a sick, perverted, damned society are we living in? My goodness. And by the way, for those of you that are run out of things to worry about, Portland is still rioting. Portland is still burning. Portland is still being destroyed in various parts of the city and other areas of the United States, thanks to the Democrats in turmoil. Absolutely ridiculous. Did you hear about the pro-Trump mother that was out with her son in support of Donald Trump to be reelected for president? And a group of women ran up to her and her son, grabbed the poster of re-elect President Donald Trump, ripped it to pieces, stole a MAGA hat from her son, and ran off. Starting tomorrow on this program, I am going to be wearing a Make America Great Again cap through the entirety of the program. And it's going to stay there right up till election. I am sick and tired of people trying to curb our free speech and only be in lockstep with their sick and perverted viewpoints. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Want to remind you about our friends, and they're your friends, at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you, with the best of tires. And, of course, they've got all the tires, all the tread designs, and believe me, for all the vehicles, all the pickups and the cars and the SUVs and the trailers, the horse trailers, the boat trailers. And I really urge you to get in there, and along with that, be very aware, the best in brake service with highly trained brake technicians, front-end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries, all of this and more. But the key is a 7-letter word, service. Service. They really take care of you. They care about you at your 7 locations of your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. James in Buell, Dan on Pole Line in Twin Falls, Lane and Rupert, Mike and Jerome, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, the Twist family in Paul, and Trent, my buddy, on Overland in Burley. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good morning, Zeb. You're kind of cutting in and out on me. Can you hear me?
I hear you fine. Thank you.
Okay. Man walks into an insurance company and he says, I want to get some fire insurance. They said, no, can't give you any. We're out of fire insurance, but we got flood insurance. He says, no, that wouldn't do. He says, I don't know how to start a flood. Now, the reason I bring that up is yesterday on the news I heard that the wildfires all over California were man-caused by climate control. So you see, you can start a fire or have a fire, and you can let it burn however long you want to make your point that this is man-caused.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I want to state it.
Very well stated, and I thank you for your call. The twisting and the turning of the truth is absolutely exemplary of the Democratic Party. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Zeb. Goodbye.
God bless you, sir. Thank you. I don't think we're cutting out, are we, Sean? Is the sound okay?
Fine to me.
Okay, well, you're listening over there. You would know. Thank you very much. We've got some great people coming on this morning, and I want to take just a moment, and I want to say this. Deanne is having a few health problems and issues, and I'm going to be curtailing this program at 10 o'clock this morning to address some of those issues with her doctors. And Gina has graciously said that she's going to take over during the 10 o'clock hour and run the program for me today. I just want you to please keep Deanne in your thoughts and prayers, and we'll let you know tomorrow on the program the status as to where we're at and everything. But believe me, I'm very appreciative of Gina jumping in at the last minute this morning and saying, you take care of her, we'll take care of the program. So God's blessings to Gina and Sean. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. With that being said, I'm going to take a little break for about maybe 7 minutes, and we're going to turn it over to CBS, and we'll be back with more Zeb at the Ranch in just a moment. Well, welcome back. Hour number 2 on a Monday, already August 24th. Zeb at the Ranch with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley, Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you with the best of tires. And, of course, Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Right now, this good word for Western Waste.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're all at your disposal. Western Waste Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this great land. Western Waste Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal. Western Waste Services.
Oh, my goodness, they would love you to call and get on the route service. Once a week, they'll come by, pick up your trash. It's gone. Wave goodbye to your garbage, thanks to Western Waste Services. And, of course, the number to call. Get on the list, and please, you'll be one of the many satisfied customers. 734-6969, Western Waste Services. Also want to give a great big thank you to a great group of people, Joel Heward, his family, and staff of Hanson Mortuary, always there with flexible hours to serve you and your family in a time of need. When there's the passing of a loved one, they are there to serve you with the best possible support and comfort, and always upholding the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity. Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert, the number to call, 436-5636. And Joel Heward also serving you and your family at, of course, Morrison Payne Funeral Home on East Main in Burley. A quick note, too, about our friends over to Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. Absolutely the best. I underline those words. It is true. Nick Greenwell and all the physical therapists are there to help you get back to being you. Located at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, I urge you to call, make an appointment, and let them help you get back and recuperate from a surgery or an accident, whatever they can and they will. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. 678-1191. You call the best around and let them serve you. I know you're in a hurry. I know you've got another meeting, and so I'm going to get right into it with the President of Americans for Limited Government, my dear friend Rick Manning. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you, Zeb?
Well, we'll have to talk over a little phone call after we get off the air later on today. But other than that, doing well. Rick, I know you've got to leave here at 9:23, and I said that I would adhere to that schedule, so I'm going to get right into it. Let me ask you a question, and it's kind of a ballpark question, but is Medicare, as we know it and love it, is it in the death throes of the Democrats and their changes?
Yeah, I think that what's happening with Medicare is we are going to see, first of all, they're going to try to make Medicare for all, which has the net effect of meaning that the funding model for Medicare gets thrown out the window, and you suddenly are dependent. It's no longer an insurance. It's now a government-funded program. And as a government-funded program, which is not an insurance program, it means they can change the rules of the game at any time, any place, with a stroke of a pen. So what you're going to see is, and in countries that have this, that have a socialized medicine kind of system, what happens is you very rapidly go to a quality of life score, where they decide, basically bureaucrats decide based upon your age, whether you're disabled, different criteria, whether or not you should get a knee replacement, whether or not you should get a hip replacement, whether or not you should get the latest treatment for cancer or not. And they say we're paying, so we decide what you get. And so if you think the VA has been a great system in terms of helping the most vulnerable vets, when we know that what they did is they just let them stand at the end of the line and then die because they never got treatment. If you think that's a great system, you're going to love Medicare under the Democrats.
Let me just say this, and feel free to correct me. We're good enough friends that I've got big shoulders, I can take it. What we're looking at, possibly with a Biden-Harris ticket, if they get into the Oval Office, is a government-controlled hemlock society.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with that. It's a... this goes to something that's happening right now, and the president's actually supposedly deciding today on this. President Trump has an executive order that would make the prices for medicine, for Medicaid, or for Medicare, make the prices for medicine be determined by foreign governments that have socialized medicine, and it's a pretty radical thing to do. You would get short-term savings and costs. Long-term, you'd have no new medicines being created. It's exactly the wrong approach, and the president's looking at it because he's saying, it's not fair that people in foreign countries pay less for the medicines than here. And but the right answer is to go to the governments and say, wait a second, you're ripping us off, you're ripping these companies off, and essentially ripping off the American consumer. You need to stop doing that and pay a fair price for medicines, as opposed to adopting their pricing system. Because I will tell you once again, this goes right to the heart of Medicare for all. If you like the European model, and the pricing system for medicines is determined by a rationing system, as a quality of life score, and if you have a disability, if you're older, this should scare the heck out of you, because the government will be the ones who determine what treatments you get, what treatments you don't get. And while that's not the intent of the executive order, it is a net effect downstream of the executive order, and we're trying to get the president not to do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank God for you. Let me ask you this. I've got so much to get in a short period of time. The Republican National Convention starts today. I watched with eyes that wanted to go to sleep and a body that wanted to go to bed the boringness of the Democrats and the darkness and the Hate America campaign they tried to throw out. What about the Republican Convention that starts today? Is it going to improve?
I think, I can't tell you about the form, and it's really a different kind of formatting, and I don't know what they're going to do. So I can't tell you whether or not it's going to actually fit the Internet kind of model to make it more interesting. But I do think it's going to be a positive vision for America. It's be looking ahead about rebuilding America, about renewing America. It's not going to focus on. It's going to focus on the problems, clearly, but it's not going to be talking about saying that America is an evil country that was evil from its foundation and doesn't have a right to exist. And that's the net philosophical message that the Democrats are putting forward. When anytime with all their white privilege stuff and all that, they essentially assume that America was founded on a racist construct and capitalism itself is evil. That's what their philosophy is, and in fact, one of their speakers even said that the Green New Deal can be used to take down capitalism. So we're going to believe them, that what they say is what they mean. And the Republican one, I think, will be much more upbeat, much more about the focus on America. It's also going to talk about the attempt by the left to use cancel culture to shut Americans up, to deprive people of freedom of speech. So I think that's going to be part of it as well. In fact, I know it's going to be part of it. But I think it's going to be a mix of politicians and other leaders, and with real people talking about why America's great and achieving the American dream. So you can, it's going to be a choice. You can choose between a dire view of America or one of the views of America with a prosperous, healthy future where everybody gets ahead because of a free enterprise system that doesn't pick winners and losers.
Amen. Very, very well stated. I've got to ask you, and I'm going to call these people losers, and I mean it when I say it. There are over 24 former senators and politicals of the Republican Party that have banded together, along with former Arizona Senator Jeff Flake and Warner of Virginia, etc., and they're joining the Republican for Biden. I have nothing good to say about these people.
Well, it's me either. Let me say what's obvious. These people, all the ones who were elected officials or ones who worked in Washington, D.C., all supposedly supported lower taxes, less regulation, and they supposedly were opposed to abortion. They supposedly were against socialized medicine. They were supposedly in full favor of energy independence for America. And yet, they're endorsing a candidate who will socialize medicine, will impose the Green New Deal, which destroys America, which destroys capitalism, is designed to do so. They're endorsing somebody who's going to raise taxes, has promised to raise taxes. They're endorsing somebody who's going to ban guns, has promised to ban guns, is going to put Beto O'Rourke in charge of gun confiscation. We have a guy who's got a running mate who has a view of America that is so dire that it's incompatible with anything that we've seen that has been since before the 1960s, and straight out of the 1960s radical Molotov cocktail throwing playbook. And so these guys have effectively said, and these men and women have effectively said, none of the stuff we told you about what was important in America is true. What's really important is we need to make certain we get back on a globalist track with international trade deals that give other countries an advantage over America and put China in the driver's seat. That's what they're saying, and they can't run away from that, and we're going to hang it around their throats. And those guys those people who sign on to this will never have a place on either party because they have proven themselves to be, they've sided with the anti-Americans. Benedict Arnold doesn't get to rejoin the American Army.
Absolutely. Quick note, I want to follow up on one more little news story that was sent to me early this morning at 4 a.m. by a good friend of mine on the East Coast, and it was about an Iowa State University professor that was warning students in that class that if you're anti-Black Lives Matter or pro-life, those are grounds for dismissal from that university. Wow. Is that the kind of manure pit that we're in?
Yeah, it is, as a matter of fact. But I know I've said I've only got a couple minutes, so I'm going to give you a short story that happened to me. When I took my first poli-sci class at Riverside City College, I had a professor, this is 1976, I had a professor who said the following. He said, Gerald Ford doesn't have the right to have an opinion on Roe v. Wade. And I said, wait a second, of course he's got a right to have an opinion on Roe v. Wade. He's the President of the United States, A and B, he's a private citizen. He has free speech to talk about a Supreme Court case. What kind of world are you living in? And the guy then started calling me names, and I got mad at him, and I asked him, am I going to be able to be graded fairly in this class? And the guy said no. He said, I said, fine, well, I'll drop it after this class, but I'm sit here and make sure you don't tell him any more lies. So this is not new. Unfortunately, what it is now accepted. It's acceptable by the university systems. And because of that, and so what should happen is the governor of Iowa, Kim Reynolds, should go and say to the chancellor, you need to fire this professor. I don't care if he has tenure or not. And send a message to every single professor that they aren't protected by tenure to go off and attack people's First Amendment rights to have political beliefs different than the professors.
Absolutely. Real quick, Star Parker, your co-author of your great book, was on television this morning, and she was outraged, and I'm totally on her side when she was saying that BLM, Black Lives Matter, is now telling private companies what they can run in their advertisements or up on billboards. If they find it offensive, Black Lives Matter is going after them. This is absolutely asinine.
Yeah, well, it is absolutely asinine, and Star had a billboard taken down that was very, it was straightforward. It says if you don't make families, if you do everything wrong in terms of family formation, guess what? You're going to be poor. And she put a billboard up that was apparently shocking by saying that the weight of wealth is to form traditional families, get a job, and get an education.
Amen.
And apparently that offended Black Lives Matter, so they took down her billboard, and she's fighting back, and I think it's important she do fight back. And by the way, if anybody's involved with Clear Channel, they're the ones who took down the billboard and gave into her the BLM's extortion. So just know, freedom of speech, even a billboard is now subject to being canceled because it has the audacity of saying that traditional families actually help black families grow into wealthy families.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have to let this man go early. I'd like to keep him on for a full hour, and that's, of course, Rick Manning, a very dear friend, president of Americans for Limited Government. I know you've got another appointment. God bless you, and thank you.
Thank you, Betty. Bye.
All right, take care. He had another commitment, and so we'll honor that, and that'll give us some more time to have some of your calls come in at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. While I'm waiting for your call, I want to tell you about a great place to go eat. Oh my, they really care. They care at Denny's restaurant. You go in, you sit down, you order, and then, by the way, before you order, they're going to give you a menu that has so many tantalizing, delicious choices, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner, anytime, all the time, all the desserts. Oh, my. Great people serving you, too, at Denny's Restaurant. It's true. It's America's Diner, located at 611 North Overland in Burley. You stop in and see those great folks at Denny's Restaurant today. Caller, just bear with me. 30 seconds. I'll be right there. I want to remind you about Let's Ride, too. Ooh, yeah, get your motor running. Vroom, vroom. Let's Ride. 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World, with all the side-by-sides, all the four-wheelers, all the bikes to get out there and enjoy the hills. I'm telling you, they've got it all. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays, 9 to 2. And they have got all the accessories, too. But the main thing to remember, too, if you already have four-wheelers and side-by-sides, they've got an excellent service department to fix you up and keep you running. Absolutely. Let's Ride. 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World, where the fun is sold. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Yes, Zeb. For all these people that are so kept up about socialism and communism, they ought to read back to what happened to Venezuela. People can't get out. People in Cuba try to get out, they disappear. You got people in China try to do the same thing, and you got North Korea. When you join up with these people, help them bring them into power, when they do get in power, you are going to be turned into a bunch of zombies. You will have no freedom. And if you try to leave the country, you will disappear. So these people have no idea what in the heck they're doing.
The left, in general, is not very smart. The left, in general, is very evil. The left, in general, if they're given the power structure of this country, will tear it apart, chew it up, spit it out, and it will never be the great America that it has been and should be.
Well, this country will become a giant prison for all the citizens that voted this bunch in.
I can't argue with the thing you're saying, and there's a lot of stories that I wanted to put on the radio this morning, but due to a time constraint, I couldn't get on. Things that'll absolutely scare you as to how sinister the left is becoming and how our rights are being taken away. They're not being eroded. No, they're being trashed. Whether it's the First Amendment, Second Amendment, whatever. These people are getting scarier 24/7 every day.
Well, I've seen what life was like in Saigon and Hanoi. I've been there in 1954. And I don't want to live that way. But these people want to vote these people in. They're going to get something they're not going to be able to live with.
Well, I'm just very, very concerned, and I'm not at all going to be one of these people that thinks that Trump's reelection is a slam dunk. I'm becoming more afraid every day of the sinister and evil tactics that the left is going to employ, Tony. I'm really, really worried.
Well, I kind of figured if that happens, if he does lose the election, there will be a bloody revolution in there, because there's a lot of guys like me out there that aren't going to put up with this stuff and have the thumb shoved down our throats.
Absolutely. I'm not going to forecast any violence or any mayhem, but I think the writing is on the wall. All you have to do is read it. Thank you, Tony. God bless you, man. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right, sir. Calls are welcome. I've got time for another call, and I'd like to remind you, too, about Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Oh, when you think about life insurance, and you should, health insurance, retirement planning, and employee benefits, always remember the people that are the pros, the people that really care and are devoted to serving you. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. What do? Well, you call them. Make an appointment, 436-4424. Don't put it off. You call them today, 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance in Rupert. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Just some food for thought. If you are not taught your rights, it is easy to take them away from you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's what's going on in our public schools, where the government is deciding what they teach the kids and what they don't. So they're raising a generation that is complicit to what they want to do.
Well, when you hear statements and read statements of a professor at one of the major universities in our country, Iowa State University, warning students that if you are anti-Black Lives Matter or if you're pro-life, look out, we're going to get you. Those are grounds for dismissal from this university. Wow. That really tells me that we are on the brink of the abyss.
Exactly. And that right there should awaken every person that's a Christian, every person that's a patriot, and every person should stand up, and that college should go broke because nobody will want to go there. Only ones that will want to go there is the enlightened ones or the woke
ones.
Yeah, but Doug, when you hear Nancy Pelosi come out and every day say something that she outstupids herself every single day, and she says all those Trump supporters and all those Republicans that support Donald Trump have doggy-doo on their shoes, the minimization of people and the lowering of people from Pelosi and Schumer and the rest of them, it sickens me.
Does me too. And this gal gets elected over and over again, which would make me think that maybe there's a little bit of fraud going on in that district for elections.
Oh, you think?
Because who, living in San Francisco right now, what you've got to walk through, what you've got to go through to get around that city, you've got to install an app on your phone that tells you where the feces is from humans so you won't step in it.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that.
No.
I was in San Francisco in the early 70s,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a wonderful place. It was a great place to go visit.
Yep.
I enjoyed the cable cars. I went down to Fisherman's Wharf, out to Alcatraz.
Yep.
And I would love to go back, but now I have no inkling to go back until that city is cleaned up and start being run by someone who cares about the people of the city.
Health-wise, you can't take a chance.
No, you can't. You can't. And I've heard, too, and that they brought it to my attention, and I thought about it, and it's true. How many of those speakers at the DNC talked about the trouble in Portland, Seattle,
None.
New York,
None.
Chicago?
None. None.
Not even a word. And the reason why Dan Bongino said it best, because they're run by Democrats and been run by Democrats for years. They own what's going on in those cities. They do not want to mention it.
I got to run, Doug. I got another guest waiting to come on, but I really want to tell you how much I appreciate your candid remarks. Thank you so much.
Okay.
God bless. Thank you. Everything he said and I said is absolutely the truth. We've got trouble in River City, and it's not a sick trombone player. It's the sick left in this country. Right now, let's go to the phone, and we have with us the founder and CEO of Valcor World. He's on the line, or he's not?
I'm getting him.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate it. We're waiting to have our next guest get on the phone line with us this morning. And as I stated earlier, while Sean's getting him on the line, I am going to be taking off at 10 o'clock this morning. Gina is going to be filling in for the last hour. We have some medical attention that needs to be taken care of regarding my lovely wife, Deanne. And so I will not be here the last hour of this program. Let's see. Is he on the air and ready to go?
Not yet.
They're still trying to find the man.
It's still ringing.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, well, hopefully he's going to be there and take the call because he is scheduled, and I'll wait just a moment. While I'm waiting, I'll also tell you about Patterson's Electronics at 421 East Main in Burley. Hello, Curtis and Lorena. Oh, my goodness. These people they've got a knowledge about electronics, everything electronics, whether it's television sets or whether it's cables or whether it's power cords. Thank you, Sean. Everything. They've got the video surveillance cameras, home theater systems, everything for you. And they're open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 6. I urge you to stop in and talk to the professionals. When it comes to electronics, they know, and they can help you. Patterson's Electronics, 421 East Main in Burley. Number to call, 678-6997. With us on the air right now is the CEO and the founder of Valcor Worldwide. We'll find out a little bit about what it is and what it does. David Sussman, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Zeb. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's my pleasure. I've got a lot of things to talk to you about in a short period of time, so tell us a little bit about Valcor. What is it?
Valcor is a business restructuring turnaround. We do debt mediation and capital acquisition for small to medium-sized businesses throughout the United States. We have licensees that we train that help save small businesses during times of tragedy, pressure, extenuating circumstances beyond their control, and obviously in economies like the one we're in right now, we're very, very busy.
David, I'm going to throw some things at you, and you are very articulate. I've had you on before. I was listening to a news story regarding the restaurants, just the restaurants in New York City, and I heard this story on Saturday morning, and they said that 80% of the restaurants in New York City are just very nearly going broke. Just the restaurants, over the idiocy and incompetency of the left with Bill de Blasio. That's just some of the small business owners that are absolutely ready to jump off a cliff because of stupid government enforcement. What are your thoughts?
You're absolutely correct, Zeb. And that report actually goes back to, it isn't just New York City, it's a national report from the Independent Restaurant Association of America that suggests that 80% of all independent, not franchise, but independent restaurants will not make it through. Now, that report originally came out in the third week of June. We're now in the third week of August. And that was with the assumption that the lockdowns were starting to end. Places like New York were starting to open up again. We're not seeing that in a city like New York City, whereby the cases of COVID-19 have dropped dramatically. Many of those numbers that do exist are false positives. They are still relatively locked down. Now, Zeb, you know this, that restaurants generally, by and large, are earning between 3 to 7% profit margins, and that is on 100% capacity. Mm-hmm. When you have restaurants in cities like New York that are operating at 25 and 50% capacity, basically social distancing, only limiting to patios and the like, there is no way these restaurants can survive. I read that a restaurant owner in New York City said that for the entire month of July, they earn just as much as they would normally earn on an average Saturday night before COVID. You can't survive if you're a business.
And, David, it goes further than that. And you know this as well as anybody. It's a domino effect. If the restaurants can't open, they're not going to be buying food. They're not going to have retailers selling the food. And it all goes back eventually to the farmer and rancher. He goes broke. It's a domino effect that's absolutely crippling our economy.
It is. And it is exactly what you said. It's a domino effect. It will affect commercial real estate. It's really a strange phenomenon when what we see happening in the mainstream news, and not just eyewitness type news or the cable news. I'm talking about economic news as well. They seem to be ignoring this massive tsunami that's about to crash on the shore. We're standing on the beach, pretending that it's not going to happen, that all of a sudden we're just going to be able to open up and go back into a V-shaped recovery. Now, I support the policies of this administration, and I think that if we continue to implement the types of policies that are business-friendly, then it will help abate some of the problems. But we've got some significant pain on its way. The only reason it hasn't hit the shore yet is because of the stimulus packages. But you can't continue to print money. I know you talk about this on your show. You can't continue to print money to prevent problems. You're going to have to pay the piper at some point.
You're exactly right, and I'm sitting here, and let's go to another subject that's related to this. If we have Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, my goodness, a 30-year-old bartender that was in the business of making whiskey sours most of her life, and now she's controlling an energy program with Biden, and they want to talk about micro-mobility to where they want everybody to buy little electric scooters to go get their groceries. My God, that's going to cripple the whole economy.
Yeah, so you're talking about the Green New Deal, New Green Deal, whatever they want to call it. This is what happens when you put children in charge. And what we saw all of last week was an epic cry from 2-year-old tantrum, the same 2-year-olds that you see in the supermarket that have tantrums in the middle of the aisle because they're not getting the cereal that mommy and daddy don't want them to get. This is what the Democrat Party has turned into. They're emotional. They are, quite frankly, deranged. You only need to spend a little bit of time, and you shouldn't spend that much time because it's cancerous, on Twitter to see what these people truly believe. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, or some of us call occasional Cortex, really, she epitomizes the number one thing that I think should be required of all politicians, no matter whether you are Republican or Democrat. Every politician should come from a background where they understand what it takes to make a payroll, to have competition with another business, to buy and sell products, to try to get customers, to deal with regulations and taxes. If you do not come from that background, you should be nowhere close to making regulations and rules and laws that the rest of us have to abide by, because they don't have a perspective based upon reality. It's all ideology.
David, when you look at the overall situation that's going on right now politically, and I really want you to expand on this, you're a sharp guy, a sharp man that's got his business and you're doing well. But when you look at the Democrats and you look at the support that they supposedly have around the country to support their evil socialism, my gosh, what happened in this country?
You've always had a split, Zeb. You know this, right? I mean, we can go back to the elections in the 60s and 70s when we grew up, and it was relatively the same. I mean, JFK won by 100,000 votes in Illinois. So the 50-50 split has always been there. Now, that has been highlighted by our unfortunate, situation we have in the media right now, where there are no longer journalists, but they're activists, and they're using Twitter and other social media outlets to accentuate their philosophies, and they're no longer dishonest. They are 100% honest. They are completely transparent about their support of a particular party. So it looks like the country is much more socialist or leftist or Marxist than it truly is. I truly believe that we are still relatively a 51, 49, 52, 48 country. The question is, out of the whatever the percentage is of those that support the left in this country, how many of them really know what it is that they are talking about when it comes to the economy, when it comes to taxes and regulations, when it comes to social policy and the like? Or how many of them are simply responding to the anger and the seething rage and the derangement that we're seeing right now coming from the media? I would argue that a lot of the people on the left today, if you sit down and have a discussion with them, and I've talked about this many times, and you actually try to find common ground, you'll find that 80% of your beliefs and their beliefs are the same. Now, you may want the same ends, but you don't want the same means. And that's the issue. We want the same ends. We want good education. We want clean air. We want a good free, country where we can have free speech. I'm not talking about the 10% on the extremes, okay? I'm talking about the 80% majority in the middle. And the key is to sit down with these people and say, look, here's the difference between you and I. You want the same things that I want, but you believe that a centralized government is the best resource for us to use to get there, which means they have to mandate things upon us. I believe in the free market. I believe in free enterprise. I believe in, yes, the word capitalism. It's not perfect, but it's certainly the best thing that's on earth right now that has led to the greatest peacetime growth that any country has ever seen in the history of the world, especially in the past 4 years, but certainly going back to the 1980s. And then if you can have those discussions with people and get them to see, the means as opposed to the ends, and tell them to turn off the broadcast news, I think a lot more of us would get along.
Well, yeah, but, we're seeing a continued everyday 24/7 erosion of our rights and our constitutional values. And I made a comment this morning when I opened up the show at 8 o'clock. Only in America this year, 2020, can you get arrested for opening your business, but not arrested for looting or burning. That's the truth.
It is the truth. And that has to do more with the blue city mayors and the blue city governors And I can't prognosticate the election results this year, but I'm telling you right now, the idea of a silent majority has never been more profound than it's been since the 1980s when Ronald Reagan coined the term. Because most people are sitting at home right now and scratching their heads saying, what the heck happened to my country?
Yeah.
And when you see Ted Wheeler in Portland and the other mayors around, Lightfoot in Chicago and the like, around this, the country justifying not filing charges against these Antifa kids. And they are children for the most part. Most people are not comfortable with that. And you know who's most uncomfortable with it? The citizens of those cities. They're furious. So maybe, I don't know, I'm not a prognosticator, this will turn the election in many of those cities as well.
Well, I want to ask you about Murphy, the governor of New Jersey, and his animosity against the gym owner that said, no, I'm going to stay open. I'm going to make every allowance I can to keep my people safe. I'm going to move the machines in social distancing. Everybody wear a mask. Everybody's going to have hand sanitizer, etc. And they got a tit and tat back and forth with the governor, and the governor said he'd pull their business license. This is insane in a land of the free.
Yeah, well, again, this is about abusing your power from a political position from people that have never operated and owned businesses before. They don't understand. And listen, I don't think that this is going to end well for the Democrats if they continue pushing this narrative that for some reason they seem to have the right philosophy and the right answer to COVID. Most people realize that, yeah, okay, there's a pandemic out there that 99.026% of the people that do get it won't die. Most people get the sniffles and the headache, and they're fine after a week. So we've shut down an entire country, and we're not the only country that's done this. We're seeing it now in Australia and other countries around the world as well. That for the most part, the numbers have dramatically come down. Dramatically. And the question is, Zeb, the 14-day flatten the curve is now turned into almost 6 months.
Right.
And the numbers have come down. I had this discussion yesterday with my oldest son, who's 20 years old, who's bought into some of the, I call it panic porn, that the media have been putting out on a daily basis. He's home. He's not in college right now. He's online, as my youngest son is in high school, online. And I'm trying to explain to them, and they do listen to Dad after a while, that, there are so many other casualties of this. You've got children being abused in homes that normally would be reported by teachers when they go to school. Those kids are no longer being helped by the authorities. You've got business owners that are having a heart attack, and the stress is leading to cancer, or they're leading to suicide, drugs, divorce, and drink. All of the negative ramifications nobody wants to talk about here. So again, we're in a place right now, Zeb, where it's kind of cloud cuckoo land. And just my hope in human nature is that most people, and a lot of people I'm talking to, most people are waking up and realizing this for what it truly is. And unfortunately, it's political, and it's political narrative, and it's a political motivation. And I'm sure you've heard this before. I think on November the 4th, all this changes.
Absolutely. But let me ask you this question. If you were Solomon right now and could wave your scepter to help the Trump campaign in victory in November, what things would you change? What would you do at their Republican convention starting today? What kind of a personality would you try to adhere to for Trump and his reelection?
It's really funny you mentioned that, because I was at an event supporting the Police Officers Foundation on Saturday night. No masks required. Okay, that was the kind of event I was at. Met some great patriots, and I was in the corner and I was talking with a lady friend of mine. She runs the AFA, American Freedom Alliance, and this is before the reports came out in the past 24 hours of the lineup of the next 4 nights at the RNC. And I said, if I was
what's his name? Miller, right? Stephen Miller.
Mm-hmm.
If I was Stephen Miller, I would have Trump come out and speak every single night just to troll the media and the left, number one. But number two, and it turns out he's speaking every night now, that number two, I would have some of the big upcoming stars. I would have many of the black conservatives that the media have been calling racists to come out and talk about the impact of the media calling them racist and allowing people to think, they're crazies, and have an impact on the discussion regarding the actual the impact of cancel culture and the attack on free speech and all of the different social impacts, because people, when they watch these things, are motivated by emotion. This is what the Democrats are so good at. They understand, because the Democrats are essentially written by screenwriters, okay? So have these people come up and talk about, I'm a conservative woman, and I also believe in feminism, or, equal rights. But because I vote for Trump, because I believe in economic, freedom and this and that, I'm all of the impact of people. And then when it comes to Donald Trump, I've been saying this now for a few months. I think Trump missed a wonderful opportunity back at the end of May, beginning of June. President Trump should have sat behind the Resolute desk in the Oval Office and addressed the nation in regards to the riots. He should have allowed himself to use the bully pulpit, the presidency, to address the nation as a leader. Mm-hmm. Now, we know he can do this. I believe his State of the Union speech for 2020, remember the one when Nancy Pelosi fake clapped and she ripped the bill, ripped the speech?
Right.
I believe he has the ability, and we know he has the ability, to address the nation in a way which can be extremely poignant and profound. He should have done that, and he wasted the opportunity, and we saw his numbers plummet. Now they're coming back up, and this week I think we didn't really see much of a bounce from the DNC. The Republicans have a wonderful opportunity to talk directly to the nation. The president needs to be presidential, and for the most part, the past few weeks, he has been. I really, truly wish, and I know a lot of your listeners probably love his tweets, okay? I really wish he'd be more presidential on social media as well. I'm not going to change his mind. 100 of his advisors, I'm sure, have tried. But he just needs to come across as bigger than himself. And if he does that, and he's talking about the issues that most people care about, the attack on free speech, the blue city governance and the blue state governance that led to the nursing home deaths, and the things that he's been trying to do, and the businesses that need him and need the low tax, low regulatory state to stay away from them so they can rebuild again. These are all the things that he can talk about, and I think he can do very, very well. Remain presidential, President Trump, and please try to limit the tweets.
Wow, that was excellent. I'm going to save that tape. David Sussman, you are great. Founder and CEO of Valcor Worldwide. Thank you so much, and please consent to coming back on the program. Thank you.
Thank you, Zeb. Appreciate it.
All right, sir. Wow, he tells it like it is, and that's the way it should be. Very interesting gentleman. David Sussman, the founder and CEO of Valcor Worldwide. Small business advocates. Wow, let's see. Oh, the weather. Sean's going, Zeb, did you forget the weather? Well, almost. The weather brought to you by Phillips Oakes Goodwin Crane and Company, and they've been providing accounting services to the Mini-Cash area for well over 50 years. They are the professionals, the best, with tax return preparation, tax planning, business consulting, bookkeeping services, retirement planning, all of this and so much more. I urge you to get a hold of them today. Offices in Burley and Rupert, the professionals, Phillips Oakes Goodwin Crane and Company. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Due to all the area and regional wildfires, we've got some really bad air quality due to the smoke. Here's a look at your weather forecast for today. Widespread haze, widespread smoke, again, because of all of the wildfires burning in the region. But we are going to expect partly sunny skies for today. High of about 92. Winds could gust as high as 23 miles an hour throughout the day. For tonight, we do have a 20% chance of showers and or thunderstorms after midnight. Still widespread haze and smoke. Expecting a low of 61. That's going to continue for tomorrow, high of 88. Again, for tomorrow night, slight chance of rain showers and thunderstorms. Still widespread haze and smoke with a low of about 58. And for Wednesday, pretty much the same. We are expecting a high of 87. That's what's your weather for 7.
Oh, she does a great job on the weather. I don't know about you, but boy, the last couple of days, my eyes are watering and I'm coughing and everything else. There's a lot of smoke out there. Weather forecast brought to you by our friends, Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane and Company. And like I say, they are the professionals with the best of accounting services to you, your family, and your business. Don't forget, offices at 1710 Overland and Burley and 625th Street in Rupert. The professionals, Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane and Company. I've got time for one quick call. Give me a jingle on the landline, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. As I said earlier this morning, Gina is, I tell you what a wonderful lady. I mean, sure, we've got a business side to everything, but she's also got a very personal side. And she knew that Deanne was having some health issues and jumped right up and said, I'll take over the last hour of your show this morning and the 10 o'clock hour to 11. And please, she's jumping in cold turkey, and she's going to take the program, and she's going to handle it for the next hour. And I will keep you abreast, our dear friends and listeners, as to the status. I think and anticipate that I'll be on the air tomorrow. I will know more in the next couple of hours. But I just wanted to say thank you to the inconvenience it is to Gina and also Sean for my not being here for the next hour. And hopefully it'll just be that 1 hour today. I want to give everybody an opportunity to call in, and we've got a great guest coming up next hour with Gina. Dr. Paul Nathanson is going to be on the program. And then, of course, at 10:32, she's going to be talking to Deb Hines over at Minidoka Animal Control for Dog Days. Tomorrow on the show, I really am looking forward to having Dan Kish with the American Energy Alliance on the program and talking about what the Democrats are calling all of us should adhere to with their green energy program of micro-mobility. And believe me, Dan's going to have a lot to say on that. Then we've got the family doc, and that's Armin Brott coming on the program. Dr. History's going to be here, and then we have Lathan Watts at 10:30. So all of that's coming up on tomorrow's program. Thank you. Thank you for all your kindness, all your calls, your well wishes, and we appreciate you. I'm going to turn it over to Sean. He's going to play a little music leading us up to CBS News. I'm going to get on the road with my lovely wife, and we'll talk to you tomorrow morning at 8:06. Gina's got the next hour. Don't turn the radio off. Stay tuned. Give her a call. Thank you.